Some shocking new proof has been uncovered regarding Jesus' existence, and you want to know what the best part is? We might finally have the actual face of Jesus on record. Some of the latest experiments conducted by the scientific community on the Shroud of Turin have uncovered curious new pieces of evidence that will leave you questioning everything you once knew. But before we get into the really interesting stuff, make sure to take a second to subscribe so we can reach 1 million subscribers in the next 6 months. Now, let's get back to it. So, what's the story behind this new evidence unveiled around the Shroud of Turin? To understand the significance of the shroud, we have to go back several years to the time it was discovered. The Shroud of Turin gets its name because it rests in the Turin Chapel, which has been passed down through the generations. The earliest records we have of the shroud are from the 1300s when it was owned by a knight. The shroud survived a fire and some failed repair attempts and was finally housed in Turin in the 17th century. But what makes the shroud so special that so many people have taken such care of this seemingly unimpressive piece of tapestry? It is believed to be the cloth that was used to wrap and bury the body of Jesus Christ, the main figure of the Christian faith. What makes this cloth even more remarkable is the faint outline of a man's face imprinted on it. Records of this cloth with a faint picture of a man have existed since the 1300s. The shroud and the existence of the image of a man on it were seemingly forgotten over the years, but in 1898, a photographer named Secondo Pia decided to photograph the shroud. When he developed the negatives, he discovered something amazing. The distinct image of a man with his arms crossed and eyes closed could be seen. The image was instantly recognizable as the face of Christ, as most portraits presumed to be of him resemble the image found on the cloth exactly. The next question you might ask is whether the shroud is mentioned anywhere in the Bible or apocryphal texts. The Bible makes no mention of such a shroud specifically, but it does state that Christ was buried in a burial cloth supplied by Nicodemus the Pharisee and Joseph of Arimathea, which could possibly be the very same cloth. It stands to reason, as both Nicodemus and Joseph were members of the Sanhedrin, the religious authority that governed the Jews, and both were very wealthy. The cloth would pass through various hands and eventually reach a French knight named Geoffrey de Charny. After his death, it was passed to the House of Savoy, where it remained until it was recognized as a possibly important piece of history and surrendered to the Catholic Church for better care. One of the earliest and most well-organized endeavors to debunk the Shroud of Turin occurred in the 1970s, when some of the world's best scientists formed the Shroud of Turin Research Project, STURP. The STURP team was aware of claims that the face and body of a man were painted on the shroud and that it was a hoax. However, out of curiosity, when they ran the cloth through some imaging technology, they were shocked to find that the impression of the man on the 14-foot-long piece of cloth was not a forgery, but indeed a real imprint. The STURP team conducted several more tests before concluding their research in the final report, which distinctly noted that the shroud image is that of a real human form of a scourged, crucified man, but they had little idea of how it got there. Once the STURP team's research concluded, several carbon dating methods were used to disprove the authenticity of the shroud. The shroud was examined by 3 labs worldwide, in Arizona, Switzerland, and Oxford. Each lab arrived at dates that suggested the shroud was much younger than it was purported to be. But here's where things get crazy. The data published by the 3 labs was never released to the public, and all the information received was reported from other sources. It was only after a lawyer demanded that the public have access to such information that we realized how inconclusive the data was. The radiocarbon dating had failed to accommodate the imprint, and there was still no explanation as to how it arrived there. The STURP team had already concluded that such an imprint could not have been made by an amateur painter or forger, but was a very genuine imprint of a man. It has been hypothesized that for such a vivid print to be imprinted on a cloth in this manner, a staggering 6.4 gigawatts of energy would be required, an incredibly high amount, if you enjoy our content and want to support us. Click on the Super Thanks button below. Your Super Thanks is not just a donation. It is a blessing that supports our mission to share the transformative journey of Jesus.
These have been the research efforts thus far. But due to the inconclusive nature of the research, new tests have been conducted using state-of-the-art X-ray imaging technology. What scientists have found has astonished the world. 5 scientists from Italy have banded together to conclusively lay to rest the authenticity of the shroud. They realized that while proving how the imprint appeared would be impossible, what they could do was determine the age of the cloth and conclusively prove whether it was indeed 2,000 years old or not. They decided to examine the structural degradation of the linen cloth using a new method called wide-angle X-ray scattering to see if the date provided by the machine was consistent with the alleged time period of the cloth. The scientists also saw this as a good opportunity to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the findings made by the radiocarbon dating method conducted since 1988. While deciding which part of the linen should be tested, they chose to take the sample in close proximity to where the 1988 tests were carried out. And what they found was astounding. They discovered that the piece of cloth they sampled, when subjected to angle X-ray scattering, produced results dating the cloth to somewhere between 55 and 580 AD, which strongly supports its authenticity. What the 5 scientists did differently from the team that analyzed the cloth in 1988 was study the decomposition of cellulose, a primary constituent of linen from that era. Instead of using the half-life decay rate of carbon-14. In the words of the team that conducted the research, the natural aging of cellulose in the linen of the Turin shroud allows us to conclude that it is a probable relic of 20 centuries of age. But what's even more amazing is that they took the opportunity to come to a conclusive stance on the imprint on the Shroud of Turin. Do you remember how we mentioned at the start of this video that the shroud was also exposed to fire? They subjected the same sample of the cloth used for the initial tests to a thermal shock. They heated it in an oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes to see what effect heat would have on the cloth. They stated that the image must possess a certain special quality, because any such imprint would definitely disappear if such a delicate fabric were exposed to heat. Any imprint present on it would vanish indefinitely. Once the study was released, everyone around the globe was shocked to learn that the face of the wounded and disfigured man on the shroud might legitimately be the face of Christ. Many people realized it was high time to create a more accurate representation of Christ's face, and they had the technology to do so. Artificial intelligence has developed at an amazing pace, making the technology needed to reconstruct the face readily available. When the shroud was subjected to an AI model like Midjourney, the face it produced was eerily similar to the images of Christ that we are familiar with. It showed a man with long hair and a beard, with severe trauma to the head and body, just like what Christ would have experienced during his crucifixion. Many others tried the same and achieved similar results, prompting a wave of optimism around the globe. It seems that once Christ was resurrected, those who reached his grave must have set aside the materials they buried Jesus with, realizing that someday this cloth would provide believers around the world with strength and prove to them that they serve a living God who rose from the grave. While there were many initial worries that the shroud might be just another forgery from Europe, small bits of pollen from the Middle East, lodged between the fibers of the cloth again, contributed to the authenticity of the shroud. In an amazing turn of events, the Shroud of Turin has transformed from an example of a medieval forgery into an indispensable piece of Evidence regarding Christ's existence. The cloth has been venerated by the Catholic Church as one of the most important symbols of the Christian faith, and as conclusive evidence of the birth, death, and resurrection of Christ. Christians around the world are rejoicing that the once long disputed piece of evidence they hoped was genuine has now been scientifically proven, beyond a reasonable doubt, to be real. Those who have persevered and believed without seeing can now know that this piece of linen might be the real cloth that housed the Savior's body before he rose from the grave and took his place as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. However, regardless of whether the cloth is real, the Bible teaches us that it is not right to be like the Apostle Thomas, who only believed because he saw physical evidence. Christ has instructed us to believe in him even if we do not see him. Our trust should be placed in God alone, not in any physical object that deteriorates and crumbles. As Christians, we have to ask ourselves whether our faith is rooted in God's love or his existence, because while the latter can be shaken, the former cannot. God took on the form of man and came to this planet to save us, his beloved, from an eternity of pain, suffering, and separation from him. We should be thankful every day for their sacrifice on the cross at Calvary and live in a manner that is pleasing to him. The Shroud of Turin is a beautiful ode to Christians around the globe that the God they serve is one who loved them enough to die for them and strong enough to pull them out of death and bring them to eternal life. In the words of preacher Billy Graham, God proved his love on the cross when Christ hung, bled, and died. It was God saying to the world, "I love you." If you've made it all the way to this part of the video, you may qualify for our membership, so you might want to listen closely. It's an exclusive area where we release videos that we cannot show to the public yet. You will get to see everything first and learn about truths that we cannot reveal anywhere else. If you enjoy our content and want to support us, click on the Super Thanks button below. Your super thanks is not just a donation. It is a blessing that supports our mission to share the transformative journey of Jesus. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. Thanks for watching. Make sure to click the video on your screen.